Hey guys, welcome back. And today's gonna be, again, another little bit different of a video. I'm actually going to be showing you how I'm going to monogram my helmet, which I've seen a couple people do, but I'm also gonna monogram my tall boots. So that's gonna be something new, a little bit new today. And you'll see I just filmed a haul where I got my tall boots a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna monogram those and then my helmet. So without any further ado, let's hop right in. Okay, so first off, you'll see I have my helmet here. It's just a like a 1K Defender, I think it's called the Defender, and it's the non-suede. That's the matte black, and I'm actually gonna put it right back here on the back, right atop my vent. And I got my what's her name? I got my monograms from Lots of Dots. She's located in North Carolina. I got her off of Etsy. I just purchased 3 monograms. They came in this cute little card. Oop, as I drop everything, they just came in this cute little card and it just says thank you for your purchase of blah 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 blah. I hope to see you again, that kind of stuff. I purchased just the regular black one, and then I also purchased 2 white ones for my tall boots. They're just really tiny, and I'll show you here in a little bit where I'm going to put those. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and start with my helmet. And first, you'll want to kind of figure out where on your helmet you want yours to go. I put mine just basically on the back. And another thing being is the place that I ride at, a lot of us have the same helmet. A lot of us have this one. Some of us have the suede. Some of us have the matte black. But I figured it's just going to be easier if I just go ahead and monogram it. A, it's cuter, gives it a little touch of personality. And C, nobody can take mine. Just saying, because I love this helmet. So I'm going to go ahead and start. You want to make sure that you take a be very particular on the cleaners you use. Don't use something that's going to break down anything on the helmet. You don't want, like if you're going to monogram like a suede, make sure that you're just using some lint and maybe something light to clean it. Don't use anything abrasive. Don't use anything that's going to break down anything. So with mine, I'm just going to use a little bit of Dawn. I'm going to have on a piece of paper. I'm just going to wipe it on there. Not a piece of paper, on a piece of paper towel. I'm just going to go ahead and you'll see, wipe a little bit on there. Just kind of smear it around, and then you're going to take a wet washcloth and you're going to kind of rub it around, really get in there and kind of wash it. And this is just like basic Dawn, just as like basically to get all the grease, all the fingerprints, all the dirt and everything else off of there. So you just want to do that and wipe it away, and make sure you wipe it a couple times. You want to make sure that there's no soap residue on there whatsoever when you get this done, because if you have any soap residue, your monogram is not going to stick. Okay, so I went ahead and wiped all my soap off. As you can see, it's still a little shiny. I'm assuming you can see, yeah. Still a little shiny, so I'm going to take the other side of the paper towel that doesn't have the soap on it, and I'm going to lightly buff away any of that stuff. And you'll see no scratches. Like I said, there's no scratches, there's no nothing on it. It's basically just really clean and clear. So then what you're going to do is you want to take your monogram, and your monogram is going to have a white sticker paper, and then it's going to be the vinyl attached to the white sticker paper, and then there's going to be a piece of transfer paper. The transfer paper is what's going to stick to the monogram. It's going to hold it in place, and it's clear so you can see where on your surface you're putting it. So you want to make sure that you rub your fingers along the monogram really, really well, because you want to make sure that your monogram is fully stuck to the transfer paper, because it's already cut out evenly. You want to make sure it stays in that same spot on the transfer paper, because if not, when you go to pull it off, it's not going to be stuck to the like a piece could be missing from the transfer paper, and trying to line it back up and getting it to stick to the transfer paper can be kind of difficult. So you want to make sure you get that pretty nice and even. You want to pull that off. I'm a short fingernails person. There we go. So you'll see the corners starting to peel up a little bit right here. And you want to easily, carefully pull the sticker paper off. And you'll see how it's the clear transfer paper, and your monogram is stuck to that. So this part I'm not going to be able to do on camera. But what's going to happen is you're going to, like I said, you'll want to know ahead of time where you place it. And you want to take it and you're going to want to line your monogram up where on your helmet that you want it. And you're going to want to make sure that it's even and it's straight, because the last thing, okay, I thought that was on it. The last thing you want is to have a crooked monogram, because it's going to be harder than I don't even know what to get off. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and we'll see how she works. Okay, and the best way to do it first is just to partially stick it down. Just stick down on the center and just push the center down, because if you push the center down, you have a better chance of pulling it back up if it's not even, which I'm pretty happy with mine. My B is smaller than my M, so my M is technically off center because I want the monogram to be center, and the M not being, like the big M, not being completely centered isn't too big of a deal to me. So I went ahead, and when I put it down, I like where I have it, so I'm going to go ahead and push down all of my pieces really nicely, and make sure you push. Now you have to think your helmet is going to be in the oval shape, and it's really hard to make sure that you get that monogram in that oval shape. So mine's already pretty well stuck down, but you want to take it and you want to go over the individual sides, like sides of the letter, like trace the letter with your fingers as you go. Work from the center, top to bottom, center out, because you want to make sure that the letter completely conforms to the shape of your helmet. So like I start at the M, and I go up and down in the center, and then I move to the outer portions and go up and down and follow it. And then I move to the bottom, make sure the bottom's stuck down really well. And same with the B. I start at the B to up and down, and then I go side to side, up and down. Same thing with the M on the left. Once you're happy and you think you have everything down, but also be careful with your helmet in the same sense. Don't put too much pressure. Don't do anything that'll damage your helmet, like the shell of your helmet in either case either. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with where I have mine placed. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the transfer paper. And this is again the other part of the terrifying part, is to make sure it pulls. You want to pull pretty evenly. You don't, and you want to go slow, because if your monogram starts to come off, that means it wasn't applied correctly. And you want to make sure that you put the transfer paper back down so you can press back down on your monogram and get your monogram to stick, and make sure that it's even in its place and where it's supposed to be. As you can see, my transfer paper is clean. Oh, I love it. I love how this turned out. It's a little crooked to me. It's hard to get this to do the right way. Can you see it? That's what it looks like. I love the way this turned out. I love the black vinyl. I couldn't be any happier. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, in a cheap way, and it's a cute way to do your helmet, and it's not going to stick out too much in the show ring, but it's going to be just enough to have that little pizzazz, which I'm all for. So that worked well. On to the boots. So for my tall boots, I have Tread Step Donatello's, the field boot. I don't know if they make a Donatello dress or what, but I just know that I have the Donatello field. And the part that I'm going to monogram is the zipper. It's this little zipper piece right here. It's the top of the piece. There's a thin piece of leather that goes over, that you put your zipper in this little hole right here. You can see there's a little hole right there. Right here. There's a hole where your finger, where the zipper goes. You put that down, and then you put the leather piece on top of it, and it holds your zipper in place. So I'm actually going to monogram this little outside piece. Oh, and the monogram that I got for my helmet was a 3-inch Petticoat, was the name of it. So if you go to Lots of Dots, you know, 3-inch Petticoat black vinyl. Okay, so now that I've got you all zoomed in, you'll see a little bit better. This is the piece, like I said, that I'm monogramming. And this, oh no, I bent it. And this is the monogram that I chose. So it's going to be just a little white piece right there. So what you're going to do is rub really well all the lettering, because you want to make sure, like I said, you want to make sure that all the letters are completely stuck to that transfer paper so that you don't have a problem pulling the sticker backing off of that transfer paper. And you want to take a very little bit of soap, preferably like a pH balanced neutral soap like the Steuben, that's not really going to foam, but this is enough just to get the oils off. I'm going to lightly dust it across that leather. Use a little bit of a wet paper towel, and you'll kind of see that it's sudsing up just a little bit, which that's okay. But you don't want the leather to get too wet because you want to make sure that it's dry enough that your monogram will stick. So just kind of keep making sure you move that around. And then taking a dry paper towel and lightly going over the spot that you just washed to make sure that there's nothing on it and it's as dry as you can get it. Now, something to think about is when you monogram the leather, you're laying the leather flat, and that's how the monogram is going to stick. What you actually need to do is bend the leather like so, because when you close the leather around your leg like this and you buckle it, it's going to be bent. It's not going to be straight across. So you actually want to pull it like so and make sure that it's rounded. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the backing off of the monogram like so. And again, the transfer paper is clear so you can see where you want it. And then go ahead and stick it where you want it, like so. Like I said, make sure to keep that bent, and you're going to start rubbing back and forth to make sure everything is stuck on there. This one's small enough you can pretty much just rub center, like up and down, and then go from one way to the other. Like so. You just want to rub it for a minute. Another thing being is when you get it warm, you make that glue a little bit tackier. So if you rub on it for a minute, it'll make it stick a little better. And you can really be sure that you get that vinyl to stick. Okay, I think we're just about good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Like I said, you want to make sure you pull slow, because if you pull too quickly, you might not realize that your monogram might not be stuck all the way down, and if it sticks to that transfer paper, it might rip it before you have a chance to get it off there. And it looks pretty good to me. But yeah, I mean, it turned out really well. I mean, I'm really excited. I think I did good. I'm glad I went with the black. I was gonna do purple, but I didn't think the purple would show up enough. And then I thought about yellow, but I thought the yellow, I wasn't sure how opaque the vinyl was, and I was afraid that the yellow would turn out dingy. So I just went with the white just because it was a little bit more classic, a little more reliable, to look a little better. And I'm glad I went with the white. So I think it turned out really well. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's video. I'm really glad everything worked out. It worked out really well to me. I think everything's gonna look really nice. I think it's gonna last a long time. And just as a quick recap with my boots, I did the little zipper keeper on the top, the little black piece like that, and I monogrammed it. It'll focus, there it goes. I monogrammed that piece, and that's the right boot. The left one turned out just as nice. I'll show you that one. As you can see, that one turned out really good too. The one that I like the most would have to be my helmet, hands down. I think it turned out the best. You can see how it turned out. I was gonna go with the curly writing, but the curly was just, I thought it was gonna be too tall because this is more of a rectangle, whereas the curly was a little bit more square, so it was gonna be taller. And I don't think, if the vent wasn't here, I would have went with the curly, like the squareness wouldn't have bothered me. But with the vent here, I think the curly would have come up too tall for my taste. So I'm glad I went with the petticoat. I think it turned out the best. But I mean, it looks really classy, and you can't really see, especially from the side, you can't really tell much about the helmet, especially like from the profile like this. You can see a little bit of the glare from the vinyl on the side, but that's not too big of a deal to me. Especially like even when I do show, I mean, you're not really gonna see much of it. If it does, it's just gonna look like a shiny part of the helmet anyway. So I think I might see what else I can monogram. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I think I kind of found a new addiction, so don't hate me if I post more videos. But I hope you guys like this video. I really enjoyed making it. I'm very excited the way everything turned out. I couldn't be happier with the products, the quality. So like I said, I'll link lots of Doc's designs down below, along with the monograms that I purchased if you guys are interested. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.